Get to all those and the questions that you have just asked. I have with me Tanvi Madan, a fellow at Brookings. Tanvi, you have really studied and worked on the Indo-US policies very closely. What everybody is asking for, what could be the big takeaways for India? Everybody is talking about India's push for NSG. Everybody is talking about India's push for MTCR. But there is also a field of defense and security, which will also be extremely important. So what specifically do you feel on defense and security could be discussed today that could be a big takeaway for India? And apart from that, investment, that also you have told us as well, that investment and creation of job opportunities will be extremely crucial for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take back home in India as well.
I mean, as you said, the US has been supportive of membership for India in MTCR and NSG for a while. So that's not going to be something new. We might see acknowledgement of some of the progress on that. On defense and security cooperation, I think you might see announcements on a number of different fronts. We will be looking to see whether they'll sign the LMOA, the US-India version of the Logistics Support Agreement. We might see some announcements on the DTTI front. I think we'll probably see something on the cybersecurity front. And then there's a whole range of homeland security, a greater cooperation in tackling groups like Jaish and Lashkar, as well as intelligence sharing. We saw an agreement signed last week. So I think security across the board, you're going to see announcement of that. We're waiting to see whether they'll really decide to make a push now for the bilateral investment treaty. That is something that I think people are looking at, because that is important for a number of constituencies, not just the administration, but many businesses in the US and India, as well as people on members of Congress on the Hill, whom Prime Minister Modi will speak to tomorrow.
In fact, that also makes sense given the fact just a couple of days ago that entire treaty of sharing of terror data was what also got a green signal. So probably that also could be a major push in the talks on terrorism and counter-terrorism today.
Absolutely. And I think these discussions have become much more frank in terms of concerns, including about, as they always put it, neighboring countries. But you don't tend to see in joint statements other countries being mentioned. You will not see, you'll see groups mentioned, terror groups, including Jaish and Lashkar as have been. But you will not see necessarily countries mentioned. For example, they would probably have also talked about the role of China and what China has been doing in the Asia-Pacific and the Indian Ocean region. You will not hear the word China. So I think they'll talk about the defense cooperation. Japan, India and the US will be doing a Malabar exercise in the Western Pacific soon. There are various ways. So I think what is important, as you mentioned about the agreement signed, this exercise, is while these visits are important, equally important, if not more in some ways, is what happens between them.
US clearly is eyeing at New Delhi as Asia's pivot for them, and that clearly will be one of the agendas set, or probably the foundations on which the talks are going to be taking place between President Obama and the Indian Prime Minister. Talking about investment, we have seen that US is eyeing at a $500 billion investment back in the Indian market, but yet again, the talks about will that surely turn into job creations back in India. In fact, he will be addressing the US IBC as well. Huge expectations from the business community also here in the Washington DC, Tanvi.
Yes, and I think the $500 billion of trade that they'd like to get to is recognizing that over the last 2 years we've seen a lot more cooperation on the defense and security side, on the counterterrorism side, and that we really need to see more on the economic partnership front, partly because that is what used to be the main driver of the relationship. But I think the argument that both President Obama and Prime Minister Modi will have to figure out a way to make, and also convince constituents on both sides, that this relationship is not just beneficial to one side. I think you will hear Prime Minister Modi make the argument that American investment is creating jobs in India, but Indian investment is also creating jobs here. And that trade, where they have had a lot of differences and continue to have differences, is something that they will have to work on, because you cannot have just a relationship based on security issues or even values, shared values. I think that is a very important part. The economic side is a very important part of the relationship for both sides.
Tanvi, the one topic which we have always seen the Obama administration picking up in their interaction with any of the global leaders is environment, is renewable energy. And when the two leaders met during the COP summit in Paris in 2015, that clearly was on the agenda for them as well. And it was pretty evident that both the nations are really keen in pushing forward for sustainable renewable energy and ensuring the carbon emission could be reduced. The developed and the developing nations could come at par. So that also expected from this meeting today?
Climate change is a major priority for the Obama administration. In fact, if they would like to see one takeaway, other than kind of the relationship and other being built even more, is kind of a renewed commitment and perhaps even a greater commitment from India on climate change. Prime Minister Modi, as he did the last time they met, will make the argument that this is not about the US, that whatever commitments India has already made, that it is committed to, especially his renewable energy commitments, that is something that is in India's interest, and India is doing it not because of pressure from the US, but because it is Indian interest. And I think where you'll see the focus is on the clean energy side, what they can do together to make sure India meets those renewable energy commitment goals. What India wants is more technology transfer, a way to pool intellectual property for commonly developed and research this thing. So I think you'll see some on that, and I think what India has been making the argument that even things like NSG membership, this will allow India to be able to use more nuclear energy. And the other thing we'll watch for, this is not a government-to-government deal, but whether Westinghouse and NPCIL will actually set up those reactors in India. That is important not just for the nuclear energy side, because it will help take on one of the arguments and complaints you've had on Capitol Hill, that we signed that nuclear deal many years ago and we haven't seen any
back in 2005.
Yes.
And that clearly will be something that will be taken up in his, closed-door meeting with the congressional leadership as well. So do you see any finalization on the Westinghouse deal really coming through? Because what we are being given to understand from the various experts that we have been speaking in Washington, D.C., that there is a sort of frustration in the American side about not getting a finalization on this particular deal. So do you see that the leaders probably will just come out and say that there has been a considerable progress?
I have to go to
whom? A finalization, or, we could just seal the deal?
This isn't a government deal, especially on the US side. I mean, NPCIL, yes, is a state-owned company. Westinghouse is a private company.
With Tanvi Madan, and now we go back to the studio.